The US Crypto Week is about to kick off in a couple hours. At the epicenter of this week lies the Genius Act that could affect how Ripple's RLUSD and other stablecoins operate. So it could also be a pivotal moment in Ripple's journey with the SEC. Ripple can break through to the other side and overcome regulatory uncertainty. And the biggest news is that we all thought Ripple was just a payments company. However, now they're headed straight to the top and are in the process to become a bank. This is huge. What does this all mean for XRP and XRP holders? Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when I drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, Altcoin Buzz Alpha, and as always, it's not financial advice, and wish the best of luck in your crypto ventures. So this is a good time to recap what the Genius Act is all about. In a nutshell, it provides a clear framework for payment stablecoins. Issuers need to back them one-to-one by cash or short-term treasuries. It also gives a couple of clear definitions on who can issue said stablecoins, their reserves, audit rules, and disclosures. Most importantly, it states that such stablecoins are neither securities nor commodities. This is a key statement because it aims to build trust. That's for both investors and institutions. Furthermore, it keeps fintech innovation in the USA, and as President Trump mentioned, it makes America the undisputed leader in digital assets. Here are some other reasons why it's so important. First is permitted issuers. There are only 3 entities that can issue stablecoins: chartered non-banks, insured depositories, and qualified state license organizations. This gives great consumer protection, and it prevents non-regulated stablecoins from entering the market. And then there's the one-to-one reserve mandate. All issued stablecoins need one-to-one backing by USD or short-term treasuries. There will be monthly checks on this, and false reporting will earn issuers penalties. And this is a key feature as one of the reasons why the US government wants more stablecoin issuers. It's because they become big stable holders of US treasuries. Then there's licensing and supervision, and licenses are approved within 120 days. The Fed or the OCC or Office of the Comptroller of the Currency will watch this, which is another barrier to stop bad actors. And then there's bankruptcy priority. Holders of stablecoins receive senior creditor status. This also affects holders when an issuer becomes insolvent, and it ranks holders high in priority for getting their money back from their issuer. This benefits financial stability, innovation, and user protection. The Genius Act already passed the Senate and is now in the House, and upon approval, Trump will sign the act into law. Now, Ripple has applied for a U.S. national bank charter with the OCC. This can make Ripple the first federally licensed crypto bank in the U.S. And this is important. What did we just learn about who can issue stablecoins under the Genius Act? That's right, qualified state license organizations. If approved, this gives Ripple a couple of advantages. For example, dual federal and state oversight. Ripple will have both state level and federal supervision. This will give its RLUSD stablecoin a boost. It increases legal certainty and trust. And with the increased institutional trust, this will increase adoption of Ripple products in a big way. And then there's also faster and cheaper payments. Ripple can now settle payments straight through the Federal Reserve System, and this bypasses intermediary banks that will charge for their services, so cheaper transactions and faster settlement costs. This also gives access to the Federal Reserve Master Account. This allows Ripple to hold RLUSD reserves straight with the Fed. It adds more transparency and security, thus increasing trust in RLUSD and attracting more institutions. And then there's a regulatory alignment with the Genius Act. This positions Ripple ahead of competitors, so one massive factor in play here is that it cements Ripple's regulatory legitimacy. Other positive effects are that it reduces operational costs and increases institutional trust. This positions both RLUSD and XRP for long-term growth, not only in the US financial system, but as a worldwide player. Now, it's not too difficult to see why Ripple has applied for this bank charter. RLUSD has a few active accounts and addresses. There's a flex in the number of transactions, so the transaction volume is way down over the last 30 days, and it's also low for the previous 30 days. And you can see this as an admission that RLUSD is not catching on as fast as they hope. You can just check the Artemis data. RLUSD isn't even featured in their overview graphs. However, once I scroll down further, I do see RLUSD, and it also shows me that all the volume is done on Ethereum and not on the XRP ledger. It doesn't even reach $1 million in volume there. So it feels to me like Ripple can only catch USDC in the US regulated stablecoin race with a move like this. USDC is already so far ahead of them in every measurable way. DeFi Llama lists RLUSD as the 17th among all stablecoins. It lists its market cap as only $517 million. Meanwhile, USDC has a $63 billion market cap. So RLUSD has a really low market cap if you want to be taken seriously. But having said this, if their application gets approved, RLUSD could catch up fairly well. It'll be a huge moneymaker for them if approved. CoinEx is one of the best exchanges you haven't heard of. Like Gate.io or Mexi, they offer a lot of coins, but more importantly, they offer the high quality coins you want. In fact, over 1,020 coins and over 1,500 different markets are available, so it's a lot of access. CoinEx has active spot and futures markets, and this month there are 2 different events if you trade in CoinEx futures. First, from May 16th to May 19th, you can get a piece of a $10,000 random airdrop. All you have to do is trade at least $100 worth on CoinEx, and you can get a little extra USDT added to your account, and just for trading, which you're already doing anyway. And then from May 19th to May 29th, we have a much bigger prize pool of 100,000 set tokens, which is CoinEx's native token. Here you get to apply what you've learned, and if you trade at least $1,000 in CoinEx futures, then you qualify. Everyone who qualifies earns something, while the winner gets 7,000 set tokens. And if you haven't noticed, SET has had a great last 12 months, up 68%, and that's about the same return as Bitcoin in the same period, so it's a nice coin to earn as a reward. So take advantage of CoinEx futures offers to learn and earn more rewards. Start today by setting up your account on CoinEx and earn your part of these 2 different prize pools. Click the link down below for more information. And at first glance, you wouldn't think that applying for a national bank charter would benefit XRP. However, there's more at stake here. XRP will also get a long-term growth boost for this. First is increased institutional adoption. Once the application gets approved, Ripple will be federally regulated. Banks and institutions will become more confident in Ripple and RLUSD. However, this will also increase cross-border payments, let alone more stablecoin transactions. And now you need XRP to pay all those fees. It's simple, this drives demand for XRP. Fees on the XRP ledger are also paid in XRP, so XRP demand will only increase. And secondly, there's regulatory clarity and legitimacy. Becoming a chartered bank will set up Ripple to comply with the Genius Act. This shifts XRP's status from a security to a utility token, and as a result, there's less legal risk, and in turn, XRP becomes more attractive for the long-term investment. It can also see more integration into financial systems. And then there's strategic positioning for future financial integration. XRP is all set up and ready to bridge TradFi with blockchain tech. This emphasizes long-term growth for XRP over short-term speculation. We also see that more tokenization of digital assets happen due to RLUSD. For example, treasury bills. Remember, they can back RLUSD 1-to-1 to comply with the Genius Act. And you need XRP to tokenize these assets, and Omni will distribute these assets to EVM networks. The Omni token saw a 220% price increase last week, and XRP will see spin-offs from this and profit from it. So as you can see, this is much more than only issuing a stablecoin or becoming a national bank charter. XRP will fly high as well, and it's guilty by association, and its price should go up because of it. The current XRP price is almost $3, and over the last 24 hours, it went up by 5% and 35% over the last 30 days. However, its market cap is $173.7 billion, and it ranks number 3 by market cap. So how much more room is there to go higher? Coinpedia sees for this year a top at $5.05, and it won't surprise me if XRP can beat this and possibly go up to $6. That may not be the end for this bull run though. However, I don't see XRP hitting $10 this year or by early next year, but maybe it can top between $8 and $9. Having said that though, its long-term growth potential can exceed this over the next couple years, but all plays will need to work in Ripple and XRP's favor. However, right now it seems to have the wind in its sails. So where do you guys see the XRP top for this year? Let me know in the comments down below.